In a previous video, I talked about my vocal parallel compression strategy. So let's talk about the actual compressor that I use. Currently on my parallel vocal bus is a Chandler RS124. It's a pretty special compressor. In fact, it used to be my direct vocal compressor, meaning I had it strapped right on the vocal rather than in parallel. But I made a mistake doing a mix, and I actually had it in parallel rather than on the actual vocal track, and I thought it sounded so much better. There is a weight that you get, like a low-end thickness that isn't boomy, that is really hard for me to achieve with just EQ, that when you hit that particular compressor, it's just inherently there. And it becomes also brighter, and the mids somehow scoop out. Honestly, it's almost like a caricature of what a vocal may sound like, with a lot of mids scooped out and big body and a nice airy top. It's a little bit too extreme as a direct vocal, which is why I favor it now on my parallel bus. So if you don't have access to that particular compressor or any hardware, if you're working in the box, a plug-in compressor that I love on parallel vocals is the Cush Audio AR1. The AR1 doesn't necessarily sound like my RS124. In fact, I think it probably sounds more like my own Fairchild than anything else. But the tone shaping capabilities of it is why I love it as a vocal parallel. It does sort of the same, well, I can make it do sort of the same thing that my RS124 does with the brightness, and by nature it's a thick sounding compressor, and you can shape the tone via its tone knob. Now, every vocal is different. I don't particularly look for a certain amount of reduction like I would with drums or parallel music, because a vocal has so much more unique dynamics than an instrument or a drum, depending upon the performance. So I really, do it to taste and use my ear. And I encourage you, when using any type of compression, whether it's parallel or direct, you really got to use your ear. Compression is something that takes a good amount of time to really train your ear to know what compression sounds like. So if you're doing it for some type of tone shaping, which is a very common practice these days, mess around with it, go to the extreme, and then back off. Do the same thing with your parallel. Maybe you like the way the extreme compression sounds, but it doesn't suit the mix, so you sneak that level in. But really do some experimentation and keep a diary or some type of notes, and explain to yourself, because you'll forget, what you like, and write down why you like it, to acquaint yourself with the sound of compression, because the more you understand what compression sounds like, the better you're going to be at it.